Alrighty, today we are going to be writing, solving, and graphing inequalities. Writing, solving, and graphing inequalities. And if you remember the symbol less than, and then that same symbol with a little line underneath it, that's less than or equal to. And then when the inequality is pointing the other direction, that's greater than. And pointing that same direction with the line under it, that's greater than. Or equal to. Alright, so when that inequality is pointing to the left, it's less than. It's got the line underneath it. It's less than or equal to. Pointing to the right is greater than. Pointing to the right with a line underneath it is greater than or equal to. So the first part of your assignment today, you're going to be asked to write an inequality. Write an inequality. So if you're given that V is greater than or equal to $12. Your inequality would be that V is greater than or equal to 12. You're just going to replace the words with the symbol. B is less than 9. You're just replacing. So B is less than 9. Four less than G. Is less than or equal to 17. All right, you have to understand in this situation, you've got a less than right here, and you've got a less than or equal to. So this first less than refers to subtraction. 4 less than G. Okay? That's going to be G minus 4. 4 less than g has to get done first. 4 less than g is the number g, whatever g is, minus 4. Okay? That is less than or equal to the 17. Okay? So in this case, or in all of these cases, the word is kind of separates the inequality from left side to right side. All right, those can be a little bit confusing, but you can't write this. You would not write this as 4 is less than g, which is less than or equal to 17. That's not going to happen. All right, we're not writing compound inequalities right now, so this would not be correct. The top one would be correct. The quotient. Quotient means to divide, so the quotient of x and 7 is greater than 1/3. Turn your music down, whoever that is. The word is tells you where to put the inequality. All right, so the quotient of x and 7, so you're going to write that first. Quotient is division. Quotient of x and 7 is x divided by 7. Is greater than, so that's your greater than symbol. And then your 1/3, so 1/3. All right, so let's go back to this section of your notes for a second. Okay? And in this section of your notes, let's less than. When the symbol is less than and you're asked to graph it, that's an open circle, shaded to the left. Less than or equal to, that is a closed circle, shaded to the left. Greater than, when you're graphing, is an open circle, shaded to the right. And greater than or equal to is a closed circle, shaded to the right. All right, so just make sure you've got that in your notes. Now, the next part of your assignment, you're going to be asked to determine whether each number is a solution of the inequality. Determine whether each number is a solution of the inequality. And let's say that you're given 4x plus 2 is less than -6. And you've got a is 0, and b is -2, and C is 1. So you can either substitute each of these values individually into the inequality to determine if they're solutions, or you can solve the inequality. Okay? So today we're going to substitute. So when you're finding out if 0 is a solution, then you take 4 times 0 and you add 2 to it, and you ask yourself, is that less than negative 6? So what's 4 times 0? That's 0 plus 2 is 2. Is 2 less than negative 6? Okay, so this is a no. Then you're going to substitute the negative 2. So you take 4 times negative 2 plus 2. Is that less than negative 6? Well, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 plus 2 is less than negative 6. And negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6 less than negative 6. And negative 6 is not less than negative 6. So this is also a no. And then you're going to do the same thing for the 1. You'll take 4, multiply it by 1, add 2 to it, and determine if it's less than negative 6. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2, less than negative 6. And 4 plus 2 is 6. Is 6 less than negative 6? And that's not either, so that's a no as well. So all of those in that case would be no's. Determine whether each number is a solution of the inequality. That's a no, no, and a no. Any questions right now? Okay, in the third part of your assignment, you're going to be asked to match each inequality with its graph, or graph the inequality. Graph the inequality. So if you've got the graph x is greater than 3, the graph of x is greater than 3 is a number line with 0 on it and positive 3 on it. Now, since this is greater than, it's an open circle. And you're graphing everything that is greater than 3. So that's everything out here to the right of 3. So there's the graph of your inequality. Graphing all the values greater than positive 3. M is less than or equal to negative 7. Number line again, and on your number line you put your negative 7 and 0. Now, less than or equal to, that is a closed circle. So it's closed on the negative 7. And you're graphing everything less than or equal to negative 7. So that's everything going to be on this side, the left side of negative 7. Okay? So, when the variable is on the left, you can shade the direction that the arrow is pointing. Now, you've got some problems in here where the variable is going to be on the right. So write this down, please. This is real important. When the variable is on the right, when the variable's on the right, shade opposite the direction of the inequality. When the variable's on the right, meaning the right side of the inequality, shade the opposite or shade opposite the direction of the inequality. Here's what that means, is that if negative 3 is less than f, if negative 3 is less than f, then on your number line, you still put a negative 3 and you still put your 0. Less than means that it's an open circle. So we're an open circle here. Now, if this variable's on the right-hand side, you're going to shade opposite the direction of the inequality. This inequality is pointing left, so you're going to shade to the right. When the variable is on the right, shade opposite the direction of the inequality. In this case, the variable was on the right, so you shade opposite of this direction. Up here, the variable was on the left, so you shade the direction of the inequality. All right, so up here it's direction, and up here it's opposite. Very important. If 8 is greater than or equal to b, your first couple steps are the same. You put a b on the number line and you put an 8 on the number line. Greater than or equal to, that is a closed circle. So the variable's on the right, so you're going to shade opposite the direction of the inequality. The inequality is pointing to the right, so the opposite of right is to the left. All right, the variable being on this side means shade opposite. When the variable's on the left, you shade the direction that the inequality is pointing. And when the variable's on the right, you shade opposite of the direction that the variable is pointing. Does anybody have any questions? Your assignment for today is going to be the back of the handout that you got yesterday, which is going to be, or is, page 168. Problems 8 through 28. And please show all your work. Elijah?
Yep.
It's page 169, buddy.